Alright, so today, bit of a different video here. What I want to do is, I want to do this camcorder comparison. I might kind of interchangeably call them cameras and camcorders, but they're primarily for video. They're like video cameras. They're not like still image cameras, you know. So that's if that helps. But I wanted to compare three of these in a really pretty basic way. I'm not trying to go in depth on every little feature and everything. All the nooks and crannies of them, but I wanted to look at these three because they're three that I bought and have used some, and I thought it just might be kind of an interesting video to see, you know, how do they compare to one another in certain ways. I guess. Oh, that's just gonna be up there. Okay, well, that's cool. And to keep it nice and unbiased, I'm actually recording these in-between bits, you know, unless it's specified, I'm recording on my phone, so we'll have a nice control there to be like, oh, what is the difference here? I'm gonna try to do them basically in this order, which is, I guess, the order of acquisition, the order that I got them. So the first thing we have here is the old camera you've probably seen on the show before. You know, I don't know how else gonna show up on here, but it's my old Sony Handycam. The DCR-SR47, which was actually reset to the factory date when I hadn't used it in so long and the battery died. So this came out around 2008. I think I got it around 2009, 2010. So I used it on the channel a ton, but I don't think I ever really properly set it up to have, you know, good settings and to get the most out of it. Usually I just turn it on and it went. So there's that one. That nice thing where the camera shutter thing the door doesn't move anymore, so that's just always exposed. Then we have the new camera that you've probably seen some of on the newer stuff here. Not the best lighting setup I picked, but you know, it's the another Sony Handycam that I upgraded to around 2019. It's the HDR-CX440, and yeah, I just got this as my upgrade because I wanted stuff to look nicer and not have a battery that dies in 10 minutes and stuff. So just upgrading my camera, I finally felt like it was time. This one, the little shutter door works. And then I got kind of crazy and I was like, I want to try out a 4K camera, but I don't know if I can commit right now. So I got this big old beast of a camera to do 4K for about 150 bucks. This just has a lens cap you can put on it. It's just kind of attached to it at all times. And this is the it's ZUODUN. It doesn't say the brand name on it anywhere, but it was ZUODUN. It's probably, I'll be written in places. HDV-244K. So these are the three camcorders I want to test out a little bit. And the basic tests I want to do here are really simple ones. I'm going to test out three main things. The video, the audio, and the pictures. So, you know, pictures aren't a big deal, but it's a thing they can also do. And the video and audio is more where you want to focus. But let's jump into that. But before we do, I'm going to play these back to back, but they're going through my video editing software, so that might crunch the quality a little bit. But if you want to see these, I will also upload each video individually on the channel. I'll link those basically in the description, so you can see each one of these, you know, without going through the editor to see if there's a noticeable difference there with what they can do. Mainly, it's particularly because of the 4K thing, my current video editor doesn't do 4K, so you won't really get the best benefit from that through what I'm putting it through. But I'll do that, and you know, just that, and most of these are just set to automatic stuff at the highest settings I can get them, so that they should automatically make things as good as they can with the best quality they have available. So I've tried here. So here we go. Okay, so this is really just a test of these three different cameras here to test out how they look and how they sound. So they're all a little further away. I'd probably maybe be a little closer, maybe, but this is just to give you the some of the video ideas, and I'll upload the video separate so you get the raw video. So this is what you have in like a pretty good lighting conditions here. I've got nice lights on, I've got my regular lights on and stuff. So then I'll also want to see how it looks and performs, whatever, in like more of a more normal light scenario. And I have these kind of set to, they're basically as automatic as I can get them right now, so they should sort of adjust. This is what it would be like more under like probably standard lighting conditions, what I used to do all the time. I would just record like this. So this is just the way things look, so I'll just hit record on me. And then low lighting scenarios will be kind of like this, where, you know, just kind of have whatever light sources, you know. Maybe there's something from a window or a TV or something lighting you up, but there's not, you know, it's not completely dark. But this is how these look and sound in these scenarios. So I just wanted to kind of test out, you know, show the mic and the lighting and all that stuff. And yeah, that's mainly what I wanted to do. So that's what. Hey. All right, I'll now have to stop all these because I can't edit raw footage. So let's stop all this. Okay, so this is really just a test of these 3 different cameras here to test out how they look and how they sound. So they're all a little further away. I'd probably maybe be a little closer, maybe, but this is just to give you some of the video ideas, and I'll upload the video separate so you get the raw video. So this is what you have in like a pretty good lighting conditions here. I've got nice lights on, I've got my regular lights on and stuff. So then I'll also want to see how it looks and performs, whatever, in like more of a more normal light scenario. And I have these kind of set to, they're basically as automatic as I can get them right now, so they should sort of adjust. This is what it would be like more under like probably standard lighting conditions, what I used to do all the time. I would just record like this. So this is just the way things look, so I'll just hit record on me. And then low lighting scenarios will be kind of like this, where, you know, just kind of have whatever light sources, you know. Maybe there's something from a window or a TV or something lighting you up, but there's not, you know, it's not completely dark. But this is how these look and sound in these scenarios. So I just wanted to kind of test out, you know, show the mic and the lighting and all that stuff. And yeah, that's really what I wanted to do. So that's what. Hey. All right, I'll now have to stop all these because I can't edit raw footage. So let's stop all those. Okay, so this is really just a test of these 3 different cameras here to test out how they look and how they sound. So they're all a little further away. I'd probably maybe be a little closer, maybe, but this is just to give you some of the video ideas, and I'll upload the video separate so you get the raw video. So this is what you have in like a pretty good lighting conditions here. I've got nice lights on, I've got my regular lights on and stuff. So then I'll also want to see how it looks and performs, whatever, in like more of a more normal light scenario. And I have these kind of set to, they're basically as automatic as I can get them right now, so they should sort of adjust. This is what it would be like more under like probably standard lighting conditions, what I used to do all the time. I would just record like this. Obviously, this is just the way things look, so I'll just hit record on me. And then low lighting scenarios would be kind of like this, where you just kind of have whatever light sources. Maybe there's something from a window or a TV or something lighting you up, but there's not. It's not completely dark. But this is how these look and sound in these scenarios. So I just wanted to kind of test out, show the mic and the lighting and all that stuff, and yeah, that's really what I wanted to do. So that's what. Hey. All right, I'll now have to stop all these because I can't edit raw footage. So let's stop all those. All right, so for the Sony Handycam, I might call this just the old Handycam for short. The DCR-SR47 video. It's very soft video image because it is, even though it's set to HD, it's older. So this is, I believe, what is this? The resolution is actually 720 by 480 is the resolution. So that's, I guess, HD technically. And it's got pretty smooth motion on it though, and it's got that autofocus and auto brightness down pretty well. But it does have harder time focusing in low light. So keep that in mind. It also has kind of inconsistent color, which probably has something to do with the sensor. If you have good light, it reproduces the color decently, but once the light starts getting lower, it tries to compensate other things above the color reproduction. It has to. I think it makes sacrifices. It seems like. But the amount of there's a little bit of noise or grain on the image, that seems to be roughly the same regardless. You might see maybe a little more when it gets darker, but not much. So it does a pretty good job of keeping the overall look pretty consistent, even if it's not the most amazing. At least it doesn't have a dramatic shift depending on, if your light is a little, higher or lower. But it is also kind of hard to read details because it's so, it's just so, the image is lower resolution, and so stuff's pretty soft, so it's kind of hard unless things are really hard line and defined and relatively close. Stuff is smaller, more fine-tuned, you're not going to see stuff as well, unless it's you get really close, or if it's too fine, you probably just won't be able to see it at all. And then for the audio, actually I think the audio is pretty good. It's a really good, the microphone in this is really good. It does pick up the internal sound of the machine, which is kind of annoying. That's a downside to it, but it has good volume output. You don't have to bump it way up later or turn it way down or something. I think it's pretty good volume. It also has a really interesting automatic balancing feature to the volume as well, where it's if you get really loud for a while, it'll bring the volume down, and if you are really quiet, it'll try to boost the volume. And also it has this pretty good spatial range. It is a stereo mic, so it's but it has pretty good spatial directional if you're on different parts of the camera, you can kind of tell where you are. So that's I'm actually of the three microphones probably the most impressed with this one actually. All right, the new Handycam, the HDR-CX440, actually has a resolution of 1920 by 1080, which is 1080. It makes me wonder, is the other one actually only technically a 480 resolution? Anyway, I don't know. That's the thing I should probably have looked up before. But this one actually, for the video, has really good. It's really good detail, really clear detail. And it's I'll tell you right now, of the three, it's probably it's the best. Visually for that. It's pretty clear and crisp. There is a little bit of noise and grain to it, and that does kind of increase as you decrease the lighting. It gets harder to do that, but it has a really good color reproduction in it. You can still again, it has a harder time autofocusing to that and auto brightness adjusting as it gets darker, but and you notice that bit of grain there. But I think when you have a decent amount of light, it still looks pretty good, and it's the most readable, the most colorful of the three. So it has a really good actual just video to it. And it has decent motion to it also. I think like if you go really fast and stuff, you'll start to notice it more, but for the most part, it tracks motion decently well. The audio in this is not bad. It's not quite the same spatially sounding. It's not as good for that. It doesn't have as much bass to it or anything either. It's more thin sounding. Um, and again, you can hear the operating noise. There's like, kind of like a little bit of a rattle you can hear in the camera, which is, again, it's a shame. I wish they could get rid of that because I guess you can use external mics and stuff for recording audio and whatnot, but having it just work really well on the camera itself would be good. It's, again, it's fine for like home video stuff for certain things, but if you want to be doing, you know, something just a step above that, something that's not just like just capturing footage for whatever, just you happen to be out and about, then you might want to not have that. But yeah, audio, I guess the volume is fine. It's good volume output and stuff, so it's okay. And the ZUODUN HDV-244K, the video quality here, and do note that off cam, whatever, off video, I have tried some of the other settings for this too. You just like the image overall is just, no matter how much light you have or don't have, it seems like a very noisy image quality. There's just lots of grainy, staticky noise going on it the whole time. The motion's all right, especially at those higher frame rates. It gets decent motion. The actual, it is a 4K resolution in 4K, 3840 by 2160 resolution. And it actually, even though the previous one, the previous Sony one, that one says it has 59.94 frames per second. This one just says it has a straight 60. So I don't know if that is super noticeable, but and this has good color to it. Also, it does a good job of picking up color in there as well. It's got a really fixed focus though, and that's something that's interesting. It could be good. But you need to be kind of further away, it seems like, for it to focus on stuff. If anything's too close, you can't really see it. So like you have to go with whatever you have to find the sweet spot. Once you're there, stuff looks decent. There's a weird crispness to it, but also the video is just kind of grainy and also can be kind of splotchy. And depending on how it saves, sometimes there are weird like artifacting going on and things with that. So that's a strange thing that happens to it. You don't always end up with the best quality video afterwards. And also it's kind of strange that some parts of it are still kind of like a little bit soft or a little bit blurry. Especially considering this is in 4K resolution. If this was, if you took the 4K stuff and squished it down, it would probably look better. That wouldn't be as noticeable, but when you blow it up to 4K, you just notice it more because you're seeing everything, and you can see that even though it's technically in 4K, it's just not the greatest image quality for that in 4K, depending on like the way the sensor and everything works. It doesn't really seem to matter that much with the auto brightness and stuff. Like it tries to compensate, but like nothing really seems to save it. Most of the time, you're either going to be probably a bit washed out because it's too bright, or you're going to be, kind of struggling to get enough light on it. And for the audio sucks. I'll just say that. The audio in this is terrible. You have to boost it way up to hear anything. It's only in mono. You hear like this, it's not really an operation sound so much, I don't think, but there's this airy kind of background noise to the whole thing, and also the audio is kind of like muffled. So there's a reason this thing comes with the ability to, it came with an external mic to plug into it also, because the microphone in it is not good. You don't want to use this for audio, basically. All right, next we're just looking at the images here, the still pictures, while I'll probably just have this as a narration over that happening. So they'll have the names of whatever's taking the pictures. I tried to take the same pictures, in the same places, same lighting and everything, to try and see how they'd work in, outside, inside, good lighting, low lighting, different kind of lightings and focuses and details to see what I could get out of this. So I took a few sample pictures of each one. And again, I tried getting the best picture. So some I just did automatic, some I tried to tweak some settings a bit to get a better picture, and I took the best pictures of each ones that I could get. and you didn't get much options, you know, with the old Handycam with the SR47. And the resolution of that is just, it's super low. The picture resolution was 640 by 480. Everything is just, it's this weird like color rainbowing effect going on. The pictures are just really small and blurry if you want to make them a regular size. You know, like this is might be okay for like smaller thumbnails to show somewhere, but if you're gonna actually use this for a picture to throw in a still image somewhere, print something, like it's just not even really worth taking pictures with the way that it looks, the way it doesn't really do color that well, and it's also hard to see a lot of detail. It doesn't focus on like anything in low light. Again, it has a lot of trouble with that. And like, yeah, so stuff's gonna be weird color rainbowing and blurry. It's gonna be hard to focus. It's gonna not really pick up detail very well unless you're like pretty close to something with a good amount of light. It might be okay, but as soon as you want to make it a size that's, you know, worth doing something with, it's really not that great. Then the newer Handycam, the CX440, has a 4032 by 2272 resolution. I don't know. Is that specific? I don't know. These pictures came out probably, I think these pictures came out pretty good, which I wasn't too surprised with this. Again, it's a newer camera, decent camera. And it's got like good, it's got pretty good, again, pretty good color and pretty good details on it. Stuff looks pretty nice if you get the lighting just right, and that can be kind of tough, right? The auto function for that, for taking pictures, is actually pretty good. Otherwise, you do run the risk of trying to do the exposure and other stuff like manually. You do really run the risk of making things too bright or too dark. So there are definitely some times when it's like, you know, certain parts there's just too much bloom going on, and like other parts of it, especially with like, you know, it doesn't have the best high dynamic range or anything on it. So it's like sometimes bright stuff will be kind of like bloomy, and dark stuff will be kind of like, you know, weirdly shady, like darker than it would be to the human eye. So that's something to watch out for. But the only thing is, like, yeah, they're decent sized photos and stuff, but again, you don't really want to start zooming in and doing anything on these. Like, here, I want to use this part of this picture and just take part of it and then blow that up. Because as soon as you start blowing this up, you'll notice that, like, you're losing detail. It's getting kind of blurry and stuff. So it's not the highest resolution, but it's at least something you can work with. Stuff can look pretty good on it. And with the auto, you know, just use the auto setting, and it's pretty easy to use that. But then there's the 4K camera, the ZUODUN, the HDV-244K. It's like that one has a resolution of 8,000 by 6,000, which is a lot of pixels. It sounds like that's many pixels happening with that one. And this one actually surprised me because I thought these would be really bad pictures, but they're actually pretty decent pictures. You get pretty good color in high light. If you have enough light, they look really, really good. Again, like you get some really good details, especially with that resolution. You can even zoom in a little bit. Like, you can't zoom in, you know, super far with these ones, you know, in post. But like once you start zooming in, like you can zoom in a little bit on certain parts, and like you can effectively kind of chop out certain things or something, and it'll still look decent. So these are actually pretty good resolutions for these pictures. But then, like, yeah, it's just, again, it's really, really bad at low light. It doesn't really know how to see anything or focus on anything. You won't really see many details there once it gets there. And also, it's because of the fixed zoom, that was especially noticeable, is that if you're taking shots of, like, you know, outside, like, bigger things that are further away like that, and landscape shots or, you know, bigger things, it's fine. But as soon as you want to zoom in on things and get close, it really can't do it. It just doesn't know how. The focus is too far away, and you can't really bring the focus in to look at something small. So, you know, don't really use it for anything that's small, up close kind of stuff. That's all. But yeah, otherwise, surprising the images I actually ended up getting out of this one. So the verdict in here, that's pretty much it. Yeah, as far as final thoughts and whatnot, the old Handycam, the DCR-SR47, it's fine for what it was at the time. Great mic. These days, that'd be the only thing you'd really want out of this, because the images, for like still images, the video quality, they kind of suck. And you could probably get better standalone mics that don't have an operating noise. So there's really not much point in getting one of these unless you could find it really cheap. I mean, it works really well. It's been really sturdy. I've liked it a lot, but it just, you know, it's old, and the cameras have gotten better since then. Yeah, this nice little tank lasted me like a decade, so that's great. But yeah, there's not really much point in getting one of these today. The obvious recommendation I would give you is the newer Sony Handycam, the HDR-CX440, just because it's smaller, it's lighter. You can't plug any microphone or anything into that, as far as I'm aware, but it's still pretty simple to point and shoot on. It's light. You can put in SD cards, get lots of memory on it and stuff. You might have to adjust a few settings, but if you want to go full auto, it's actually pretty good at doing that as well. Especially if you just get an external like thing to record audio and sync it up later, great. Good picture quality, does decent still images even if you want to do that. If you happen to have it, you're like, I want to take a picture of this instead of using a video still or something. You get really good quality videos out of this thing. So this is actually pretty good. And this, I think, was only this was probably about $400. When I looked that up, what I paid for it was around 400 to 450, somewhere in there. So I don't know what it would necessarily be right now, but not bad for that. Again, I don't know what this would go for, but unless this is pretty cheap, you might as well just spend a little bit extra to get a decent one, so this probably would be better. Yeah, the ZUODUN 4K one, was about $150, and it came with like SD card and a holder thing and a light hood and an external microphone. It came with a bunch of stuff, but they're so proud of it they didn't put their name on it anywhere. It's okay for like doing still image stuff in like larger things. Outside photography might be okay for a cheap thing for that. And it's passable video quality, if you're just doing something for fun. But I think if you're gonna get something 4K, that's the only issue. If you're getting something in 4K, just get something that does 4K decently, or you could probably spend a similar amount on something that does 1080 and does that much better than this does 4K. I just don't know that there's much point in getting this, other than to make a video and be like, hey guys, I tried out a really cheap 4K camera, and it's not great. Just make sure you use the external mic or your own, because the mic on this sucks. And again, yeah, you're probably better off spending $150 on something that's going to do more for you than this. But yeah, it's okay. That's the thing. It's okay, but 150 I think is too much to be like, yeah, it's all right for a couple things that are really specific things. You're probably better off spending a bit more to get something that's decent at doing a few more things other than just really specific couple of things. It'd be hard to find that niche. So those are my, can I hold them up at the same time? Are my hands big enough for this? Those are my Camrys, my Camcorders. So that's the video. Let me know if you guys like that comparison thing. I don't know if I can do tons of these because these are expensive, but yeah, if you're interested, I can check out more stuff. I have a couple webcams I could probably compare at this point, but I don't know. That was the video idea. Hopefully it was kind of interesting. I don't know. I just thought it would be fun because I was using these anyways, and I thought it'd be fun to do. And this was definitely, I just bought this for like, well, it's cheap enough. Maybe it'll do 4K, so I can try to dip my toes in 4K, and it is not good 4K. But I don't know. It's fun to play around with tech stuff. And if I focus on things I might actually use, it could be interesting. There's a thing on microphones coming eventually. I'll do it. I have them in a box. I just haven't used them all yet. Like, comment, subscribe. Can we still say that, or do we get banned?